Okay, this is test number 15 from sections 1.1 to beginning all the way through 5.5. Just to recap, our objective using point slope form to write an equation of a line. That's our latest thing that we got to this week. Number one says find the rate of change for the situation when a chef cooks 9 pounds of chicken for 36 people. So he cooks 9 pounds for 36 people. He cooks 17 pounds for 68 people. 9 divided by 36 would be 4 pounds for one person. 4 pounds for one person. And I actually wrote it upside down. 4 pounds per one person is still your rate of change either way, just written upside down. Number two says find the slope of the line. You can count. The toughest part about this one is actually identifying integer intersections that it goes through. This is probably the easiest one to see. This is another one that might not quite be so easy to see, and this one looks like a good one as well. Starting at the lefternmost one, you have to go down one time. So we went down one, which is -1, and we go to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 times. So we go to the right, it's +4. So your slope for that one's going to be -1/4. Remember, your slope is considered your rise over your run, or how much it goes up and down over how much it goes left and right. Number three, again, find the slope of the line. Same thing. A little bit easier to identify the integer intersections for this one. These two would work pretty well. Going up one from this one. So since we went up one, it's going to be +1, and to the right 1, 2, 3 times. So it'll be +3. Your slope will be 1/3 for number three. Finding the slope of the line that passes through these 2 points, you're going to need to use the slope formula for this. Remember, your slope formula is the change of y, so y sub 2 minus y sub 1, over your change of x, so x sub 2 minus x sub 1. Easiest way to do it. Again, mentally you could do this, but it's probably a good idea till you get the hang of it to label it x sub 1, y sub 1, x sub 2, y sub 2, and just plug the values in. Y sub 2's value is 1, minus y sub 1's value is 7, over x sub 2's value is 10, minus x sub 1 value is 1. So 1 minus 7 will be a -6, and 10 minus 1 will be 9. The number 3 goes into both of these numbers. It goes into -6 -2 times, and it goes into 9 3 times. So your slope for number 4 will be -2/3. Again, we'll use the same formula, y sub 2 minus y sub 1 over x sub 2 minus x sub 1 to find the slope for number 5. We'll call this x sub 1 y sub 1 and x sub 2 y sub 2, and plug the values in. Y sub 2's value is 3.1 minus y sub 1 is 6.1 over x sub 2's value is -2.5 minus x sub 1's value is -5.5. Look, we have a negative minus a negative there. So 3.1 minus 6.1 will give you -3, and minus a negative tells you to add a positive. -2.5 plus 5.5 will be a +3. So -3 over or divided by +3, your slope will be 1. Number 6 says a student, this was the one that was a little bit jammed up on your paper, I think right here. It's kind of tight. Just make sure y'all make the little correction, the little change. Says student finds the slope of the line between 14.1 and 18.17. She writes 1 minus 17 over 18 minus 14. If we go ahead and label our points x sub 1, y sub 1, and x sub 2, y sub 2, we can plug it into our slope formula. Remember, it's y sub 2, so that's this value here, 17, minus y sub 1, which is 1, over x sub 2, which is 18, minus x sub 1, which is 14. Notice the difference between what she did on the top and what we just did on the top. Remember, you can go either way. You can go sub 2 to sub 1 or sub 1 to sub 2, but you can't go both ways like she did. So the easiest way, it says, what mistake did she make? The easiest way to say is her order, it's wrong. And again, you can make the argument that the order is either wrong in the numerator or the denominator. State whether the slope is 0 or undefined. Might be a little tough for you to see, but here's the line right here for this one, and for number 8, the line's right here. It's a vertical line. So for this, remember the easiest way to determine whether it is, see if you could write the word 0 with a capital Z like that. That's 0. If you need to use the 2 points, you'll see that it changes an infinite number at the bottom, but it never changes up or down. Your rise never changes. This one right here, though, you can write a capital no slope. So this one would be what you would call undefined. Again, you can see the change. It infinitely changes when you're talking about its rise. It goes up and down, but it doesn't go over at all. So the bottom number would be 0. And remember, you can't have a 0 at the bottom of a fraction in math. That makes things not work. Number 9 says find the slope and y-intercept of the line. Slope and y-intercept, remember slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. It seems like it's been a long time since we did that, even though it was just last week. That shows you a slope and a y-intercept. Y equals mx plus b. It's given to you. It's already in the correct form. So your m value or your slope is 4/3. Your b value, remember you have to include the sign that goes with the b. That usually gets people messed up a little bit. B is -3. Your slope is 4/3. Your y-intercept is -3. Number 10 is not quite as easy because you have to actually move the equation. It's in what's called standard form, which we'll get to next week. But you want to move over everything that's not y. So this 14x needs to move over. It's positive, so you want to undo that by subtracting 14x. This will cancel. But if you subtract 14x on the left, you have to subtract 14x on the right. That leaves you, that cancels out on the left, leaves you with 4y equals. Remember, let's put the x term first, so -14x, and then +24. Get rid of 4 times y by dividing by 4, and it'll cancel and leave you with just y. Divide this term by 4 and this one by 4 as well. The number 4 doesn't go into both 14 and 4, but the number 2 does. So -14 divided by 2 would be -7, and -4 divided by 2 would be over 2. So -7/2x, and then the number 24 divides by 4 evenly. It gives you +6. So what you have right now is y equals mx plus b, where this is your m value and this is your b value, again, including the sign that goes with it. So your slope is -7/2, and your y-intercept is 6. Writing an equation of the line with the given slope and y-intercept. So this is taking what we just did in 9 and 10 and just doing it backwards. Y equals mx plus b is slope-intercept form. You're given a slope and you're given a y-intercept. So what you want to do is you want to leave y, you want to leave equals, and you want to leave x. In place of m, we're going to plug in our value for m, which is 1. And in place of b, we're going to plug in our value for b, which is a positive or +4. The only change we have to make to this, you don't want it to show 1 times x, you just make it y equals x plus 4. This, when you do likewise, again, it gives you slope and it gives you y-intercept. So leave y, leave equals, and leave, I'm thinking of y, I'm thinking of slope, point slope form now. Leave y, leave equals, and leave your x, and just plug in your slope, which is your m value, and your y-intercept, which is your b value, -3/4. So y equals 1/4 x minus 3/4. Number 13 says write the slope-intercept form. So you need 2 things. You need a slope and you need an intercept. Your intercept crosses through at -1. Remember, that's your y-axis. So your b value is going to be -1. Your slope you need to determine by looking at either the point that we just identified or the 2 points that are highlighted for you. To be safer, you can go with the 2 points that are highlighted for you, starting at the leftmost one. You have to go up once, twice, 3 times, 4, 5, 6 times. Since we went up 6, that's a +6. And to the right once, twice, it's a +2. So 6 divided by 2, your m value would be 3. So now we have a slope, and we have a slope, and we have a y-intercept. So we can write our equation just like we just did in the last few problems. Leave y, leave equals, and leave x, and plug your values in. M's value goes next, so it's 3x. Plus b would be -1. So y equals 3x minus 1. Number 14, again, writing slope-intercept form, we need those 2 things. We'll find the slope first this time just because just to do it a little differently. Starting at the leftmost one, you go down once, twice, 3 times. So since we went down, it's -3. And to the right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To the right 10 times. There's no number that goes into both 3 and 10 evenly, so our slope will remain as negative 3 over 10. Now your y-intercept is this point right here. We can estimate it, but that's probably not a good idea to estimate it since we are not sure, since we have a better way to do it. We know that this point, if we labeled it out here, would be negative 5, positive 2. So negative 5, 2. And this point all the way over here to the right would be positive 5, negative 1. So you need to use one of those points along with your slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b, in order to determine what your y-intercept is or where it's actually crossing through the x-axis. We'll use this one right here since it's closer. We'll call this x and this y. We'll plug in our values in order to find b. Y's value is here, negative 1, equals, we just found our slope as negative 3 over 10. And then our x value will be 5. So that's plus b. That's what we're looking for. In order to get rid of that divide by 10 or over 10, you can multiply everything by 10. So that's times 10. This is times 10 in the middle, and this will be times 10 here. 10 times negative 1 will be negative 10. These will cancel out and just leave you with negative 3 times 5, which is negative 15, and then b times 10 will be 10b. Get rid of negative 15 by adding 15 to both sides. Now what we have is 5 over here. These guys will cancel and leave you with 10b. Get rid of 10 times b by dividing by 10. If you do it on the right, you need to do it on the left. B equals, the number 5 goes into both, into itself once and into 10 twice. So now you have b, which we assumed was 1/2 early, but we couldn't be positive. So b is 1 over 2. So we can write our equation. Remember, leave y, leave equals, and leave x, and plug in your other values. M comes next, negative 3 over 10, and positive 1 over 2 for your b. So y equals negative 3 over 10x plus 1/2 is your equation in slope-intercept form. Use the slope and y-intercept to graph the equation. Okay, the only thing we're looking at is the slope value, which is here, mx plus b. So our m value is 3 over 4. Our b value is negative 3. Remember, when we're graphing an equation, your b is your y-axis. So your b tells you where to begin. So if you begin at negative 1, 2, 3, that's where you put your first point. Then your slope, or your m, tells you where to move. It tells you to go up 3 and to go to the right 4 times. So we're going to need to make sure we make a couple of marks. Again, if you want to use graph paper, that's fine. It's not necessary. So from the point we already made, go up once, twice, 3 times, and to the right 1, 2, 3, 4 times for your second point, and put it. Once you have 2 points, do the best you can. It's kind of hard for me up here. Do the best you can to draw your equation going through. Graph should look like that. Number 16 and 17 says find the x and y intercepts. Remember, to find the x-intercept, you plug in 0 in place of y, and to find the y-intercept, you plug in 0 in place of x. So 2 times x plus 3 times 0 equals negative 18. Anything times 0 eliminates it, so what you're left with is 2x equals negative 18. Get rid of 2 times x by dividing by 2. That'll cancel and leave you with just x. If you do it on the left, do the same thing on the right. Your x-intercept is negative 9. Do the same thing for your y-intercept, but except this time we'll plug in 0 in place of x. So 2 times 0 plus 3y equals negative 18. This will, in effect, cancel out and leave you with 3y equals negative 18. Get rid of 3 times something by dividing by 3. Cancel it. Do the same thing on this side. Y equals negative 6. So your x-intercept's negative 9. Your y-intercept is negative 6. You can do likewise with this last problem. We'll finish this in the first 15 minutes. Negative 3x equals 18. Just plug it in 0 in place of y. Divide by negative 3. Negative 3. I'm supposed to say negative 3. And x value, this will cancel out, is a negative 6. That's your x-intercept for this one. Do the same thing, but plug in 0 in place of x, so you have 9y equals 18. Divide by 9 on both sides, and y-intercept is 2. So your x-intercept is negative 6, your y-intercept is 2. We'll continue the rest on video 2.